When you think about traditional learning and how that may have used to look with the teacher in the classroom, and the teacher is talking to the student, and the teacher the student rather is just supposed to sit there and be a sponge and just absorb everything you say. It's not how things work. It's not the real world. Rather, the approach we take here is project-based learning, where the student is actively engaged in the process, and they actually taking part in something that they can feel proud of. But another key thing in project-based learning is that it's towards a real goal, a goal that can enhance the community or a goal that can enhance the school. When a student takes place in beautifying the school, making the school better through a mural, it goes a long way. This year's theme of the STEAM camp has been innovation, making something out of nothing. And the challenge was, how could we take 8 different art disciplines and innovate in all of those disciplines? So even if we're in theater, are we talking about innovation? And how do we incorporate innovation even on the stage? Down to photography, stop motion video, music production, all these different things that were included here in the STEAM camp, actually being deliberate and pulling the science, the engineering, the technology, the math involved in the art form, and spelling that out to the student what that looks like. This year, one of the key things that we did was we wanted to be very intentional, not just having STEM on one side and then the arts on another, but we wanted to really incorporate them and combine them to really engage in the STEAM process and what that looks like. And I believe we were very successful in that. One of the key things we did was that we actually paired an artist, local artist from the community, and we paired them with teachers from the district and kind of get the best of both worlds. So as they're engaging in any activity, the teachers there also assisting with pulling out the technology, the math or engineering, other elements that are already there incorporated in the arts, just helping the students to identify with that process. You know, we've done so much within this past 5 weeks. I could talk about it all day till I turn blue in the face, but there'd be nothing like showing you exactly what we did here. So how about you take a journey with me, take a look at what we've been doing right here at the Harrisburg School District 2017 STEAM Camp. This year in STEAM Camp, again, we wanted to be intentional, even in photography, so that the students weren't just taking pictures, but they were understanding the science behind the pictures that they were taking.
This year in the photography program, first thing we turned the classroom into a camera. Using the camera obscura method, we blocked out all of the windows, and then the board back in the corner, an image projected on there from outside. And then we took the campers around with Fuji Instax cameras, and we documented what was happening at camp, and then produced scenes from those images with each class. We taught the students how to use their phones to take images, and then we took those images and we printed them out, and we had them hand color their shadows and midtones to isolate where the highlights, shadows, and midtones are in their photographs, and then we combine them all into a collage. We made cyanotype prints, which is a photographic process that originated in the 19th century. It was used for blueprints. College students used it to make prints, and it also is used to document flowers and things of that nature. You take the chemicals and you paint them onto paper to sensitize them, and then you can use flowers and other objects to block the sun from hitting the paper. You take the paper out into the sun, which exposes, and then you bring the paper back inside and rinse it with water, and you're left with a print of whatever you had on your sheet of paper.
How technology embraces the arts and how the arts incorporates technology is endless, and we really want to embrace that in our technology class.
So we're here with the STEAM camp at Marshall, and my focus in this is to work with technology. And one way we do that is, one crucial part is the Makey, which is just an electronic microcontroller that allows us to hook up some instruments. We make either a game controller or an instrument, and it really is just basically closing a circuit. So students are learning basic electronics, understanding circuits, what's an insulator, what's a conductor, and this is a very simple way for students to invent. We take the time to actually build stuff with craft materials, cutting things apart, looking at plastics, cloth, and also figuring out how we wire these up. So it's very hands-on, interactive way to understand technology and how we get beyond our phones and our devices or computers. Sometimes these machines can be very magical.
One of the key focuses in stop motion was the actual technology, the technology that's used in order to make it work. So students had to learn how to utilize the technology, and then once they understood it, how to think outside the box. How do I take this technology and incorporate my own idea? So the end result of that I find to be very engaging and exciting. So I just invite you to take a look at what our students have done here in the STEAM stop motion animation. Music production. I'm excited about it because even all the music that you're hearing through the last stop motion animation video that you heard, the students actually got a chance to produce that music for that. Matter of fact, the music that you're listening to right now, that music. Could you turn the music back? Thank you. That music there was created by students here at the STEAM camp.
Well, music production, we want to, of course, touch the basics of music and the process of notation, instrumentation, and the typical things that you would learn in music. But in STEAM camp, we want to make sure we point out not just the creative ways, but the career paths and also the technology, math, and reading that's involved in music production.
So if we're talking about STEAM, it's not just about making beats, as students might think, like, oh, I'm making beats. No, but how about sound engineering? What does sound sound like? How does it travel? What does sound sound like in a gym opposed to a lobby, or if you're in a studio?
Not that bad.
Can you give us a voice acting voice? Do your best impression.
But once again, from an engineering component, actually engineering the booth out of moving blankets and PVC pipe. How can we put together a studio that would capture sound so that the sound wouldn't travel? We can contain the sound. And how can we create a booth? How can we use the technology of an iPad to do voiceovers?
Students of MMSI STEAM camp.
One of the things that we wanted to expand on even more this year in music production is the aspect of Foley and voiceovers. In other words, this is something that people really take for granted when they watch something. All the sound that you hear when you watch a movie, I mean, the entire sound of any movie is stripped away. And all the sound that they add after that is staged. They actually have people that go in and watch the movie as it plays, and they don't just score the music part of it, they actually score the sound and the sound effects. And we're excited to teach students about that this year. And we didn't just want to teach them about it, we wanted them to get a chance to experience it. Let's take a look behind the scenes as we take a look at our STEAM Camp students in action. When we started off the orientation for the STEAM camp, I got together with all the teachers, counselors, the staff, and I actually showed them an old clip of Sister Act 2. At the end of the movie, they're singing the song, Joyful, Joyful. Right here, this is what STEAM looks like. And there's all kind of things going on in the background. A lot of people just see a person singing. But there's so much more to that. There's so much more behind what went into that. And that so much more is called STEAM. So I want to take all that stuff that we've been through in these past 5 weeks, and the inspiration of Sister Act and tying it all together. You're not just seeing, now we'll have rap, now we will have a song, now we will have dance, now we will have music instruments, now we will have stage lighting. You're seeing it all put together in one piece and you're enjoying it. I don't want our showcase and our final presentation to be like a showcase as normal where parents are going out to support their kids because they have to, and you gotta like sit there through this whole process, you know. But I was like, I want it to be really engaging, and I don't want it to be like, well, now we will have this and next we will have that. What's a way that we can put together a presentation that really highlights everything that we've been learning here in all the different classes, everything that they've learned in music, where they're not just playing string instruments, but they're actually engineering. They're actually making the instruments that they would use on stage. How can we incorporate that into our presentation, into a play? How can we take found objects and make them into instruments? Anything from chopsticks to mason jars to pipes, and how can we invent and make our own instruments from scratch, making something out of nothing? And in the area of dance, not just hip hop, which is amazing. I love seeing the students engaged in hip hop and learning new hip hop dances that we can incorporate in our final production, but also ballet, and not just females on stage doing the ballet, but males and females equally engaged, embracing this process. Even even with ballet, how can we pull out the physics involved in motion in your body while you're dancing? The specific name for the science, which is kinesthesiology, the study of how the human body moves, and the specific concept from physics that we explored were things like torque, angular momentum, Newton's 3 laws of motion, and precession. All of these things are all included, and it's just a part of the process. So I went to Mr. Summerford with this, and I said, how can we take all of these things and tie them all into a bow and to a final presentation? And he came up with an excellent idea of incorporating an invention of the stoplight and surrounding a whole play around this stoplight.